Hello engineers, welcome back. It is great to see everybody again. We have an awesome Lego project we're going to be building this week because remember last week we did our fireworks in a cup and lava lamp experiments. Okay, so I hope those experiments worked well for you and they looked as cool as we were hoping. And today we have another awesome Lego project to build. Okay, now today's project, Sarah is going to help rescue Firefighter Sam, okay, because Firefighter Sam got stuck and he needs Sarah to come help her, okay? The only problem is that, as you can probably see, Firefighter Sam is a little bit bigger than Sarah, so it is hard for her to lift him up, okay? So she's gonna need to make a machine that can help her lift Firefighter Sam up, okay? We're gonna use some engineering tricks so that Sarah can be stronger and lift more weight than she normally can, okay? Now the only special thing that we need for today's project that we don't normally have is a piece of string, okay engineers? So you can ask your parents or your older brother or sister to help tie a piece of string around any Lego brick, okay? Or of course, if you can do it by yourself, then you should do it by yourself, okay? But if you can't, that's okay. We'll ask a parent or older brother or sister to do it for us, okay? Now it doesn't have to be a rectangle like this. It can be a longer brick if you want. It's up to you which piece you want to tie your string around, okay? And we're gonna tie it nice and tight so that it sticks in between two sets of our bumps, okay? We don't want it to slide any further than that, so we wanna make sure it's tight enough that it can't go over the bumps, okay engineers? Now, once you have that ready, we are going to build something called a pulley machine, engineers, okay? Now, before we build this machine, I'm gonna let you watch a short video, okay, that shows you exactly how pulley machines work, and then we're gonna come back and build our own, okay? So I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back engineers. That's a pretty cool machine, isn't it? And some very smart engineers figured out that you can use pulleys to help lift more weight than you would be able to on your own, okay? Now, are you ready to see what our pulley machine is going to look like? Okay, so we're gonna wanna start by getting the biggest pieces that we have for the foundation of our pulley machine, okay? Because remember that whenever we're building with Legos or anything else for that matter, we want to make sure that we start with the biggest pieces on the bottom and then they can get smaller as they go up, kind of like with our Eiffel Tower. Remember how we built that one? So I'm going to start with my rectangle pieces on the side, my long rectangle pieces on the bottom, and then I'm going to add some of the smaller rectangle pieces on the top, okay? Now you can choose how tall you want your pulley machine to be, okay? It is up to you how tall you want it to be, and it's up to you which colors you want to use, okay? I'm gonna make mine, I think I'm gonna do mine 10 rectangles tall, 10 pieces tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many more do I need to make 10? That's right, I need one more. I have 9, I need one more to make 10, okay? So once we have 10 pieces on one side, that means that the other side is also gonna have to be 10 pieces because we want our pulley machine to be the same height on both sides, kind of like with our bridge. Remember on our bridge, if we made one support beam that was 4 pieces high, the other one also had to be 4 pieces high. If it wasn't, then our bridge would be a little bit slanted, okay? So I'm gonna get enough rectangles to do the same thing on the other side. And a reminder, engineers, that if you don't have enough rectangles, reminder that 2 squares is equal to a rectangle, okay? So you can also use 2 squares, as long as it's connected together nice and sturdy, then it's gonna be just as strong as a regular rectangle. And I recommend putting the 2 square pieces in between 2 rectangles because then we get a reinforcement piece on either side, like with our bridge, okay? So if you do need to use 2 squares, just don't use them for the very bottom or the very top piece. Okay, engineers, I'm gonna try to find as many different colors as I can. Okay, and remember that if you wanna make yours be a pattern, you can always make yours be a pattern as well. Like right now, mine's going red, yellow, red, yellow, red. So what would the next piece be if I wanted to continue that pattern? It would be yellow. And then if I wanted to keep it going, it would be red again. And then yellow again. And then another red, that's right. And then if you don't want to count them, okay, remember an easy way to do it is you can also set it right next to our other tower. Then I'm gonna put blue on the top, like that. And remember, we know that this one had 10 pieces, so if they're equal height, if they're the same height, then we know that both of them have 10 pieces, okay? Now, we need a brick that goes across the top, okay, engineers? Now, normally, if I was going to if we were at school together and we were building a pulley, we would use this one right here like the video showed. And remember, it has the groove in it that we could put our string in just like that, okay? But I know that a lot of friends don't have this at home, and that's okay. Even though this might work a little bit better, remember that part of being an engineer is making projects work even when you don't have all the pieces you need all the time, okay? So instead of using that piece, we're just gonna use a regular brick across the middle, okay? And remember, if you don't have a long brick like that, that's okay. Remember what we learned with the bridge? We can use reinforcing pieces, and we can take regular rectangles, and we can connect them together to make them longer. Okay, so it's okay if you don't have a longer brick like this. So I'm gonna use my long brick going across the middle, okay? And then what we want to make on the top, because we're gonna want our string to go right over the top like this. So what we wanna do to make it sure that it stays in one spot is we're gonna build a little gate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a square right here, and I'm gonna put another square right here, okay? And so now our string has to stay in between these 2 gates, but we also don't want it to come up. So that means we're gonna add one more piece right like this. Okay, engineers? And now we make sure that our string has to stay in between this little gate, okay? It doesn't have anywhere else to slide to. That is kind of we're kind of acting like this gate is our groove instead of the groove that we would normally put it in here, okay, to make sure that it stays in a straight line. All right, now we're gonna pretend, engineers, that firefighter Sam got stuck while trying to rescue somebody, and he couldn't make it back up on his own, and he needed somebody to help lift him up and over. Okay. Now remember that when we have a pulley, when we're pulling on the string from this end, okay, it's gonna pull the string right through the gate and bring it up here. And remember that this helps make firefighter Sam feel like he weighs less when Sarah's pulling him up than if she was just pulling him up on her own. Okay? So as Sarah pulls on this end of the string, firefighter Sam comes up he can hop right off his block, and he can make it safely down to the other side. Now, if you want to build a staircase, that comes down from this side, okay, Firefighter Sam could climb downstairs if you want, or because he's a firefighter, he's very talented, he can slowly make it down safely, okay? Now, if you want to test just how strong your project is, okay, then I'm going to show you one other thing we can do if you're on the edge of a table, okay, engineers? We can test it in extreme circumstances, okay? So I'm going to show you that next. All right, engineers, so if your project was able to pass the first test and your pulley machine was strong enough to help Sarah rescue firefighter Sam, then you can do it over the edge of a big table or desk like this, or some friends have even done it from their upstairs, making a really long rope going all the way downstairs, and they help see if it's strong enough to pull it up, okay? Make sure you, of course, ask your parents' help first, okay? But Firefighter Sam is all the way down on the floor, so we can imagine that he needs to come up a long way, and Sarah pulling on our pulley machine, it helps make Firefighter Sam feel like he weighs less, and Sarah can safely pull him all the way up to safety without our string or our pulley machine breaking. Okay, engineers? So I would love to see a picture or a video of how big you made your pulley machine and how many minifigure friends you can rescue, okay? Now, some people might figure out that if you tie a bigger brick onto here, you can put 2 or 3 minifigures on here at once, and others might be able to figure out how to add another gate right here so that you can have two strings going through your pulley machine at once. Okay, engineers? I cannot wait to see what you make. Thank you for working so hard with me today, and I will see you again next week.